You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Thomas Jefferson. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live, broadcasting worldwide on this Sunday transmission, the 15th day of February, 2015. I'm your host, Alex Jones. We'll be here for 2 hours, as we are every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m., and then back tomorrow, live, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Darren McBreen and crew have put together an unusually powerful montage, promo, expose, mini-documentary, infotainment, salvo of truth. I don't know what you'd call it. It's 7 minutes long, and it's integrated to the song Crazy Like Alex Jones that we air a couple times a year that a listener made 4 or 5 years ago. We're going to be airing that at the bottom of the hour. It's a real eye-opener, and it's something that will be very effective to wake up friends and family, so we'll get it uploaded to YouTube tomorrow so that folks can share that with their friends and their family. So that is coming up at the bottom of the hour. Obviously, that said, it really is head-spinning. It really is head-spinning. I did a lot of research today on the news, on different developments, and it's all just over the top. Just these two articles right here I could spend 2 hours on. London Guardian and a PBS report. Spy agencies fund climate research in hunt for weather weapons. Scientists fear. U.S. expert Alan Roebuck raises concern over who would control climate-altering technologies if research is paid for by intelligence agencies. I'm on record with the father of weather weapons. I'm on record researching this deeply. Not from a conspiratorial view, but just from the real research view of finding out what's happening. We're on record over and over again saying that climate change, A, is always happening, and the only constant is change. This is a global energy power grab, obviously. The idea that climate changing any is unnatural is a total ridiculous, on its face, hoax like 2 + 2 = 10. Or that raising the debt limit doesn't raise the debt limit. But clearly, when you look at Bill Gates, DARPA, the Pentagon, since the 50s, obsessed with weather weapons and weather modification, and you look at the technologies they have, and they're deploying, we're seeing weather weapons being used, and we're seeing them being used here in the United States. So I hadn't seen this article till I got in here before showtime about 30 minutes ago, and was going over the articles that they'd printed off for me to look at, and I saw it, and I almost don't want to cover this. I mean, you can make a whole film about it. I don't want to just cover something so earth-shaking, so important, like it's no big deal, that it's lost like a fart in the wind. Sorry for the gross analogy, but when the analogy fits, you got to use it. I've got a large repertoire of semantical lexicons that I can use to communicate to people, but sometimes it just is what it is. Sometimes you got to say, Bravo Sierra. It's total horse crap. It's total bull crap. When Obama gets up there and says there's no death panels when it's in 8 different places in the stinking bill. Now here we are 2 years into it, they're implementing the damn things. And see, sometimes I don't want to use that type of language. But when you get down to earth-shattering tyranny like this, to not use language like that would be criminal. People know I've been on air 20 years and hardly ever drop even the slightest French on air. But at a certain point, I mean, it's overwhelming. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Yeah, that's right. Hey, that actually goes with the outro music, the Moby. Oh, man. And then, meanwhile, scientists seek international authority on climate geoengineering, a global government to save us with geoengineering. So their weaponization will be called peace. We are the Borg. We come in peace. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. We're living in 2015. We're living in the Twilight Zone. We're living in Buck Rogers. The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride, GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
The earth, riches, and wisdom. So we have even right there.
What's his name?
This is an emergency transmission from FEMA Region 6 in occupied North America.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar.
And we are coming to you live from deep in the heart of Texas, Austin. I am your host, Alex Jones. Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com are our main websites. You can follow us on Twitter at RealAlexJones and, of course, like us on Facebook on multiple platforms. And links to those sites are all up on Infowars.com. Where to begin? Well, we knew that more attacks were coming from radical Islamicists on so-called soft targets across Europe, and I predict in the United States. It's not a question of if but when, and now it's happened again. Danish police have killed 22-year-old suspect after Copenhagen shootings. We've got 2 dead in the shootings and at least 5 wounded police officers. Police shot a 22-year-old Danish-born gunman, Omar El-Hussein, today on Sunday after he killed 2 people at a Copenhagen synagogue at an event promoting free speech in actions possibly inspired, you think so? You think the sky's blue? By an attack on the French satirical weekly Charlie Hebdo, authorities said. Spy chief Jens Madsen said the gunman was known to intelligence services. Oh, really? But you didn't do anything prior to the shooting and probably acted alone. Though they said they've shot 2 now. Police said he had a record of violence. Oh, really? Just like the Charlie Hebdo people. Gang-related activities and weapons possession. They did not publish his name, but it's Omar El-Hussein, according to RT. And it goes on. 2 civilians, a synagogue guard and a filmmaker, were killed, and 5 police were wounded in 2 separate attacks in the Danish capital of Copenhagen. Witnesses to the Copenhagen attacks said the gunman fired 40 shots at a cafe hosting a free speech event with Swedish artist Lars Vickas.
I realized that
we're going to play some of the audio of the shooting right now.
Activity of those people, there will be always, yes, it is freedom of speech, but, and the turning point is but. Why do we still say but when we...
Oh, she's defending free speech. What a coward. You notice this stuff happens in these disarmed countries where this guy's allowed to be caught with weapons over and over again. We've got his rap sheet, been involved in all sorts of criminal activity, and then he... These are just gang members that now have a political religious cause. I've profiled it. I've looked at it. It's a gangbanger, hip-hop, meets Islamic extremist, spoiled rotten welfare head in the middle of Europe, getting away with bloody murder. Makati. See, this is ISIS rap Mac Daddy songs.
احمقي مليغوش اللي محشلي
خوس مولا
شكرا يا واد
أنا بدي أندفن بنفس المقبرة اندفن فيها جدي.
And I notice now there's articles about members of Congress, their families, military members' wives are being threatened on Facebook and Twitter for about a year or longer, since we were exposing the fact that Al-Qaeda was the main Syrian rebel army and that our government was funding them. So that's about 2 years. I've been getting threatened, and I mean very serious threats. Very serious threats that the local police department and the FBI, by the way, are aware of and watching, saying they're going to come after me just because I don't want our government funding Al-Qaeda and ISIS and launching attacks on Syria, Libya, and the Egyptian government. I mean, they know this show's being listened to, but they're not just threatening us. They're threatening anybody that would dare stand up against them. I mean, they're just scum. And I'm not trying to say, hey, bring it on to these idiots. I'm just simply saying that, thank God I'm not in some cafe in a disarmed country. You come in here, it's basically like attacking a military barracks or something. Just good luck is all I could say. Or not even military barracks. Those aren't even really armed. It's like attacking a forward observation post in Afghanistan or Vietnam or something, a triangle base. I mean, we're not going to just roll over here and get on our fetal position. We're ready to act immediately. But that's a side issue. I mean, that's probably just threats. But this is going on. And it's allowed to go on Facebook, Twitter, and so many other places. And now in Germany, they've been canceling scores of pro-German, pro-national events. They're trying to ban parties connected to some of the nationalist parties out of England, like UKIP, that are gaining a lot of steam and are very mainstream. Just today, one of the biggest carnival marches they've had for 100 years in Germany, one of the biggest parades in Germany that's non-political, has been banned. There's the headline, Police Cancel Parade in Germany over terror threat. Authorities banned carnival event citing concrete threat 30 minutes before it was set to start, with 250,000 people that had already arrived. 250,000 people had already arrived, 250,000 visitors, and were told, sorry, you can't have a stinking parade. I mean, this is total capitulation to terrorism, to psychic terrorism, to psychological warfare, while the EU brings in unlimited illegals and legalizes them and gives them welfare. I mean, China doesn't let us immigrate there and have all these freebies. Mexico doesn't. Iraq doesn't. Saudi Arabia does it. You go to Saudi Arabia, hand out a Bible, they will execute you. But it's like, oh, be politically correct. Don't search the Saudis when they fly in. Don't make their women take their headdresses off, their burqas, because that'd be hurtful. Well, how about in Americana, in my republic, I don't go to naked body scanner? How about you don't grab my genitals? How about I'm innocent until proven guilty? Because every time they're watching these people, they know who they are, they've gone to Yemen, they've gone to these places and trained, they've got weapons, and they're left alone to attack, because the West wants to use these attacks as a pretext to take our basic liberties. It's 2 + 2 = 4. Look at this CNN story. Why Chinese moms want American babies. Felicia He, 27, shelled out $10,000 and planned meticulously before hopping on a plane to give birth in California. I started getting ready for the trip after the end of my first trimester, she recalled. I asked my friends who have given birth in the U.S. before for a doctor recommendation. Then I found a plane to stay in the area for a few months and purchased my plane ticket. Pregnant Chinese moms are flocking to stateside to give birth, lured by rules that grant American citizenship to anyone born on U.S. soil, a booming birth tourism industry. And it goes into the 10,000 Chinese women, out in California having birth. All over the world, you come here, you get everything free. The baby, welfare, mom gets welfare. It's a total joke. And CNN writes this, not calling for an end to it, as a stinking advertisement. And now the IRS has announced they'll give anyone that can get here illegally up to 5 years of back taxes tax refunds without ever being here or living here. So they'll take an old lady's house if she hadn't paid the IRS for a year after she has a stroke.